We're in episode 4. Fuzzy runs a roguelike. We're back at Gunfire Reborn. We won Gunfire last time. And maybe that makes up for my abysmal Enter the Gungeon performance yesterday. I'm back to normal mode. I want to try challenge mode. But for right now, I think it's far more important that I get comfortable talking and playing at the same time. Plus, you know, maybe that first one was a fluke. Maybe I'll die in the desert. I'm probably not going to die in the desert. But stranger things have happened. Yep, so far I'm having a lot of fun doing these. It definitely hasn't been the worst thing in the world. Finding the wild hunt on floor 1. It's just a good shotgun. It fires when you press and release the trigger. So okay, that's not what I wanted at all. Let's compare them. Magazine capacity is great. Range is great. I'm gonna go with this one. It's a little bit more impressive. Did they change the crit? I think they changed the crit sound in a patch. I don't know why they did that. Not really something I wanted. I had someone tell me that they were so impressed by how this game changes between the zones. And I think the first zone does draw people away from this game. It's very, you know, there's no real detail. I mean, the game's not a very detailed game, but even the little things in this game, they just don't feel fully fleshed out. And that's gonna be a thunderclap glove. It's got bonus crit. This is useless. I guess I can crit. Okay, maybe not useless. The whole, like, what guns can headshot and what guns can't. So there are 2 characters in this game. And I have them both. You have to be you get level 50, I think you unlock. Level 30, you unlock the dog. I just don't like him. I don't really know what I'm doing or what builds to go for. And the whole, I don't know, the whole, like, oh, you can dual wield weapons. It has the issue of, like, when you have a resource that, like, you need to carefully manage. It's like a health potion in a video game. Like, oh, this situation isn't that bad. I might need it later. You know, you never think that the dual wielding. It's hard to figure out when the dual wielding is optimal, and so you're just, like, worried about using it, so you don't use it enough, and you feel bad, and you're like, well, why am I using that when I don't know. I find that the orb for the cat is just, like, so much. It's just a lot less stressful to use in that regard. And I never really feel like I'm wasting it. It gets you out of a pinch. The cooldown isn't too low. It's too high. Whereas I think the cooldown on the dual wielding ability of the dog is long enough that you can't just have it up every encounter. gonna get Elemental Rage. Interesting. I don't really save money in this game. I don't think it's... How much money do I need for this? Maybe 1,000 to get the full value? Huh, we'll try it. That was probably a mistake. I'm probably just gonna spend my money on shiny things. Also, I get comfortable with a weapon. And now that I think about it, that was a terrible idea. Die. I'm not a fan of this new crit sound. I don't know, I like the old ping noise that they used to make. Kinda hope they change it back. Yeah. I had a couple things that were on my mind before this episode. You know, casual, innocent, innocuous enough things that cause no controversy. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich? It's just one of those debates that, like... It's more about the spirit of arguing than it is about the actual debate itself, because whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not is completely irrelevant. It's not like we're gonna solve the Israel-Palestine conflict by getting them to agree about the classifications of a hot dog. Personally, for me, I'm an ethical purist. I don't give a shit if, like, oh, well, it's just, it's a protein, or it's a food stuff between bread. It's just horizontal instead of vertical. It's the same thing. Like, if we can say, oh, a hot dog is a sandwich, we're just, like, what we're saying is that there are no rules. We're saying that, we can call anything whatever. I think a pita bread, like a pita thing, is more, I want those. Getting the cult scroll. This is what I mean. I'm just gonna spend my money. Because I see things to spend money on, and I go, that's a good idea. But rules are important. We need to say that hot dogs are their own thing. And I think the hot dog society, which is a thing, because this is America, and there's this society for everything. Although, I say that, there's some really obscure, like, English societies. There was that one society in, Charles Darwin was a part of. I think it was, like, the Gourmet Society, and their goal was just to eat, like, one of every animal. Yeah, that's real. But, is it okay? Meh. I think we're gonna chalk that as one of the least bad things Britain did during that period of history. I think questions like is a hot dog a sandwich and those other debates, I personally think that arguing about pointless stuff is good for society, is good for us. I think it teaches you skills that you should carry over. How to interact with people, how to disagree with someone without getting upset at them. And I don't want to say, oh, I don't want to sound like an enlightened centrist and say, oh, this, you know, applies to politics as well. No, if there are disagreements in politics that are completely moral or ethical, well, I need to fucking move on here. What the fuck am I doing? There are disagreements in politics that are moral and ethical, and letting your emotions go in those arguments is not a sign of weakness. It's, you know, you shouldn't feel bad because you become upset. And also, I'm still using plus, okay. You know what? I'm gonna buy this. no elemental effects. My build sucks. My meat is small. I think, like, in a friend group, it's important to have these arguments, to sort of get practice, to understand sort of how your friends, how they think, you know, how they argue. How can they improve? How can they improve their social skills? Because we all can have improvement. I know I'm not the best person in the world. I've been trying to get better, and I'm pretty proud of that fact. Like, personally, for me, I think some of the best discussions I've ever had with other people, whether they're arguments or whether they're agreements, have been about Star Wars. Star Wars is such a blatantly stupid media. I like the music for this fight. It's simple enough to do the job well. My damage. Oh my god. This damage sucks. Okay, that was a little... Just hit him in the head. Star Wars is such an aggressively stupid media that, like, the joy in it comes from how, I don't want to say obnoxious it is. Oh, corrosion Argus. Why, thank you. So I'm probably going to keep this weapon for a while. Argus is a shotgun crossbow that fires in a straight line. The range isn't as good as you might think. I believe it has damage fall off at a certain point. Still a good gun, and against bigger enemies, if you line up the head right, you can just do massive damage. How did that... Oh, okay. I was gonna say. That's really annoying. There's one of the enemies up there is making it so the other one can't die. And they're not getting down, so I can't separate them. I think I don't know what my favorite obscure, like, Star Wars bullshit is. I know everyone has one. They're just so many. I think a big contender is The Phantom Menace. It's a terrible movie. I tried watching it a year ago. The first, like, 20 minutes of the movie is unwatchable. Once they get on Tatooine, the movie becomes, like, coherent. But until then, it's just setting change, bad dialogue, setting change, bad dialogue. Repeat. All enemies become lightning swordsmen. Anything else in this room? I need better guns. So what I'm hoping for is a fire weapon that I'll replace my cavalry with. Which I shouldn't have bought. But there's a scene in Phantom Menace where R2-D2 saves the day. I don't want that. No. R2-D2 saves the day. He keeps the ship prepared as they fly through the blockade. And he gets rewarded. First of all, he's a robot. Like, is this... Are they getting paid for this? Are they slaves? If they have the concept of, like, reward, that's a little... But at the same time, they're forced to do the work. And he watched the other robots around him die. I don't... That's kind of dark. What... Is he okay with this scenario? Is he okay that he's the only survivor of a brutal robot... The only survivor of this blockade run that left the other robots, you know, charred husks of steel floating through space. Anyway, so let's ignore that and focus on the fact that he's getting a reward. They're not going to give him money. No, he doesn't need money. Because he's a robot and he doesn't purchase things. He has no hands with which to do so. So, the queen, who is not the queen, who is in fact Queen Amidala's handmaiden, pretending to be the queen, says to the robot that as a reward, I'll have one of my handmaidens wash you. Which, let's go into the levels of why that's bad. One, we've already talked about, he's a robot. So, why does he care? Secondly, he's a robot. Why would he care about people? Like, I don't think there's a difference between Joe Exotic and Natalie Portman when it comes to cleaning a robot. I don't know, maybe Joe Exotic would be better. Maybe he'd do a better job cleaning it. I don't know. The fact is, like, the appearance of whoever's doing it, I don't think is important. I think it's... And I think if they're implying that it's like a quality thing, like this handmaiden will do a better job cleaning this robot than like the people who work regularly around robots, that's a little bit odd. Do people not care about robots enough in this world to give them a good cleaning, but care about enough to give them rewards? Do robots have feelings? It's all circular. So let's go into the third part, which is maybe they're trying to imply Natalie Portman's character, who is the actual queen, by the way. Let's make that clear. Like, I'll have one of my handmaidens wash you is, I'll have the ruler and head of state of our country, I'll force her to wash you. Which doesn't make any sense at all. But maybe they're saying that, like, hey, Natalie Portman's hot. You know, and this robot's like, yeah, got this hot chick washing me. She's 14. And her character's 14. It's just wrong. It's not right. I will grab this even though I don't have a fire weapon. I am optimistic. Maybe Princess Amidala, Queen Amidala, just wanted to hang out with R2. Maybe she just wanted to see an astromech for the first time. If so, why did they have to come up with such an elaborate ruse for it? Why did that dialogue need to exist? The first, before they hit Tatooine, the first chunk of this movie is so... They bastardize the phrase "show don't tell." They don't say any. There's literally no dialogue that doesn't show, and there's so little dialogue. So you're left with not caring about what anyone says, but what everyone says is so important to the plot. You're left confused. Yeah. I'm terrible, I know. Oh, I spent 200 gold on a ability that gets stronger. But now I have a fire weapon. I will replace this for a burning rounds and nothing else. I am stuck in my ways. I get 100% elemental effect chance for like 3 seconds after I swap weapon. So if you ever see me just like rapidly swap between my weapons without shooting, that's why. I'm gonna reload it. I use the corrosive weapon to take out the armor, and then once that's done, I shoot him once in the head and he's done. Bone Dragon. Lightning, untold, ammo belt. So they're untold effects. I know I meant to show it to you guys, and I just somehow slipped my mind. I don't know what that scroll does. The wording is so bad, I literally have no idea what it does. Do you know there's a Star Wars character by the name of Elon Sleaze Bagano? He's the guy who sells that's not worth the 10% damage increase. He's the guy who sells, it tries to sell Death Sticks to Obi-Wan. Star Wars names are great. I play a lot of X-Wing the Miniatures game. It has an abundance of just absolutely dumb names. There's like a bunch of pilots, and they all have names. Like there's Marek Steel, Zertik Strom. Oh shit. Ved Foslo. And these are the people I'm naming, these three guys. They all fly the same ship. It sounds like what ship could possibly have these three male-born stars? Turns out, it's Darth Vader's ship from episode 5. Well, from the first Star Wars movie. Shows you what kind of men Darth Vader likes in his life. I'm gonna take... I normally take the crit one, but I don't think my accuracy is good enough right now. I'm kind of just, like, fucking around. There's so much joy, in my opinion, when it comes to making Star Wars names. I'm really excited for Star Wars Squadrons. I hope that I get to give my character a name. If I get to name my character, it's probably going to be like a week-long process to figure out what the perfect name is. Because you want something that sounds like sci-fi in like the dumbest way possible. I know prequel memes likes memeing about the beginning of episode 2. The plan to kill Padme. It's a Ghost Shock. That is really cool, actually. Oh man, keep saying I'm gonna take the bow when I see it, but then I don't. Don't trust me with anything. It's Darth Sidious. He asks. He's like, I see. Padme is kind of a problem. She's arguing against the Separatists a lot. You know what? I'm gonna have her killed. And he's smart. He's like, this doesn't even have to work. If it works, we're hunky-dory. But if it doesn't work, well, at least it won't come back to me. And it will get people moving. He's... People are like, oh, well, it's about, you know, getting Anakin and Padme together. It wasn't even on his mind until, like, the third movie. He really didn't care about Anakin. Yet. Ooh, nice. So he gets his good buddy and apprentice, Darth Tyrannus, also known as Count Dooku. We'll go into him in a bit. And Count Dooku's like, I know just the guy. He's, you know, he's great. I've hired him before. He's a bounty hunter. His name's Jango Fett. Jango Fett's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so he goes and he gets another bounty hunter. Can't remember her name. She's a shapeshifter. Her name's also really dumb. Oh, Zam Wessel. That was it. Yeah, he hires Zam Wessel. And Zam Wessel's like, okay, so I gotta go kill this princess who's heavily guarded next to an exposed window. Hey, honestly, I feel like after one assassination attempt, they would have thought that more clearly. That was terrible aim. He just goes down like a sack of rice, huh? I already gave you money. Don't beg. So Zam Wessel gets a robot. I don't know if this robot's like R2 and that he has feelings and emotions and desires and wants. But for the sake of the argument, let's assume he does. Or she. Let's not be sexist. This robot is like, okay, my job is to get close enough to the window. And when you're that... This robot gets pretty close to the window. And Anakin and Obi-Wan, they don't detect shit. They're like, yeah, no, we're fine. We're not... The Force? Nah, the Force doesn't detect the robot. And here's where, like, a simple man would say, just blow up the robot. Strap, like, a bunch of dynamite to it. And just blow it up. You've already proven you know how to use explosives once. This really seems like more of an extension of your last plan. But no. They decide that they don't want to use a robot. Well, they don't want to. The robot wants to live. So instead, the robot deploys slugs. It seems like a lot of steps to stage an assassination attempt. The first one was so uncomplicated. We blow up the ship. We blow up the ship. She's in the ship. That's end of story. No one has to get hurt besides the people in the ship. We have time for lunch. We go to that diner that Obi-Wan likes with that one character with the forearms. Dax Jackster, that's the guy. But no, they have to overcomplicate it. Sometimes I forget this game doesn't have a melee. I'm not gonna lie. Elemental Rage 3. That's just good damage. And you're looking pretty good. I could always fuck around and throw it away in the third zone. There's probably, like, I imagine a lot of people have seen, if you were to say, hey, what's Count Dooku's Sith name? They're like, no, he doesn't have a Sith name. I feel like something they would have said in the movie. And you'd think, it is Darth Tyrannus. And, because people don't pay attention, like, they might ask the question, wait, so some of the more astute might ask, wait, not Count Dooku. He was, Qui-Gon's master, right? I know things. Got a Chibo. Sharpshooter. I mean, his crit zone's the size of the goddamn moon, so how could I not? They might be asking, how did Darth Tyrannus, how did Count Dooku, how did he become a Sith? How did he leave the Jedi Order? He quit. That's a thing you're allowed to do. That damage is crazy. Remember the first boss, how worried I was? Oh my god. You're just gonna give it to me again? I normally don't see scrolls like that, especially like the super rare legendary ones twice in a row, but I guess they want to really give me deflection shield. Yeah, so Count Dooku, he is the count of a planet, and you're not allowed to have possessions as a Jedi, so when he found out that his planet wanted him to be their, like, royalty, he's like, okay, let me go talk to Yoda real quick. Yeah, I quit. And Yoda's like, that's fine. Turn in your lightsaber and your badge. I struggle to see. There's a lot of decisions I don't understand if we were to assume that that's an option. Yeah, I have deflection shield. I don't need to dodge. As strong as I am, though, this run is still, like, peasant tier compared to the last one. But I want that. It would be boring if I got another free win for doing nothing. I need to prove that I'm good at this, that I can beat this game normally, not that I don't do it. Don't do the same weapon. Okay, I need to prove that I can beat the weapon normally. We'll beat the game normally. But yeah, like, Anakin has so many problems with the Jedi Order, and it's like, oh, did you know you could just quit? Yeah, like 20 Jedi have quit before us, and we just let them go, and we just say bye. We give them a little goodie bag. We tell them, hey, don't turn evil, don't be a Sith. They almost always do, but we tell them, don't do it. We don't check up on them at all. I don't want it. You think they would? Do you think they send Mace Windu every bad? You think they'd send Mace Windu every couple months, every year or so, make sure Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku, isn't like fucking around with evil magics? It was a crit. Damage is just nutty. I think I'll be that guy and I'll defend the Star Wars prequels, not because I think they're good, but because how often have you seen a movie where the entire thing is just one person's creation? Like it's only their work, no other individual had influence on it. You very rarely get to see that. You know, the creative process is a collaborative effort. You need to work with other people. You need people to tell you, hey, this isn't good. Improve this. So, the prequels are not that. No one told George Lucas shit. He was able to do whatever he wanted. And just a look into how his mind as a creator thinks, that's worth watching them at least once. If you don't want to watch it more than that, that's fine. I think I've only seen the movies once, and I would consider myself a Star Wars fan. I like the ship design. I like the vehicle design. And the board games are fun, because you get to go pew-pew lasers as you push TIE fighters around a board. I know I wrote down, like, current events to talk about. It's just so... It's kind of frustrating. There's not a lot of funny stuff going on. And I just don't think... Okay, I don't just think. I know that me talking about that kind of shit doesn't solve any problem. So I'll talk about The Princess and the Frog instead. Disney announced that they're changing Splash Mountain to be Princess and the Frog theme. It's a funny deflection tactic. Like, they have Princess and the Frog. Oh, that was a challenge? I didn't even know. I actually think I don't want that. Yeah, I do not want that. I know I don't want it. Oh, this is not a fun fight. But they just, like, cause no, they don't care about Princess and the Frog, really. But whenever it's like, oh, we're being accused of racism, what do? Break glass. And, I don't know, I guess I've seen Princess and the Frog. It's not my favorite Disney movie. I like the villain, it's well animated. The music's really good, and I feel like it's a movie that I'm glad was made, but I would... The middle third of that movie is not good. I just feel like they were lost on what they wanted to do. I might shut up. Yeah, I had to shut up there. Things got pretty sticky. It's a shame that Princess and the Frog did poorly, despite the fact that I didn't like it. The animation and the style and the decisions they made, for the most part, were good decisions that I feel like should have been made. It was made by a lot of passionate people. 2D animation isn't dead. Klaus, I'm pretty sure, was almost entirely 2D. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's on Netflix. That movie's it's just a treat. I love Klaus so much. It might be one of the best Christmas movies ever made. It's like that. It's up there. Obviously, Muppet Christmas Carol's #1, but like that one from Muppet Christmas Carol, Die Hard, Klaus. That might be how I do it. People like other Christmas movies. I don't know. I don't hate Christmas movies, but I feel like Christmas movies in general, and Christmas anything in general, gets to be lower quality, and people are like, well, it's acceptable. Like, no, I want a Christmas movie that I could watch not in Christmas and still get a lot of the same, and still feel good about my decision. Oh, that works. Nice. I do actually hate Christmas music though. Like, I can't stand Christmas music. It's part of that has to do with when I got my braces put in when I was a kid. All that was playing was Christmas music for like 4 hours. So I just associate Christmas music with tooth pain. But and I'm realizing now that I'm probably not enunciating Christmas as much as I should a lot of the time. I don't know what's gonna sound like in the VOD, but it's not gonna be fun. I should shut up about the topic now. It's also like late June, which means it's perfect time to be talking about literally anything else that isn't Christmas. But I really liked Klaus. And I would watch Klaus right now. I don't care. Maybe I'll watch it to feel cold. That's how you know I should stop talking about stuff when I go to the weather. We'll nip that in the bud right now. This one looks a little bit complicated. Okay, those lanterns will absolutely destroy me. The Argus is really nice for taking out these enemies, though. Not gonna lie. So this game, it has the obvious elemental effects. Decay is a slow, shock is a DPS increase. Ow. And burning is damage over time, but also has combine effects. I'm pretty sure fire lightning is manipulation that confuses enemies. I actually don't know what fire corrosive is. I don't know what I'm doing to these enemies when I hit them with both guns. That's a thing I should know, yeah, but I don't. I'm pretty sure lightning corrosive is like a really nice, a really nice damage over time that like actually spreads to other enemies. Man, without you've only seen me get to here with the damage resistance shield or whatever, but so I'm kind of making this look a little bit more trivial. These kappas are actually nasty to fight if you don't recognize them right away. In my last run, I talked about how the desert was more dangerous for long range enemies, and that I think that's true to a point, with the exception that the kappas and the arrogant lobsters will actually fuck you up if you just decide that you're not going to fire at them for a bit. There's less long range enemies, but the enemies that are long range hurt more. Frenzied shark. Don't summon lanterns at me. It's a big fish. I'm gonna look at that just because I haven't seen it before. I'm not gonna use it. Oh wait, I've seen this before already. I'm an idiot. Piercing Flame or Argus. I have time. Always a shopkeeper before the boss. I think this run's been pretty relaxed. I'm excited to take on challenge mode. Well, I don't know what it's called. I'm excited to take on so I deserve that. And you know what? I fully deserve everything that happens to me. I forgot. Wasn't considering the fact that I took 90% bonus damage, and I just decided that, oh, this enemy deserves to die. When you build yourself around a certain strategy, it's really important to remember you pull that strategy and you don't forget it. Not to sound like, you know, Brett Favre here, but the key to winning the game is not to take damage. You die when you are shot. So I fired at him thinking that I was going to kill him with a crit, and then I missed every shot. I don't have an excuse. I really should have done something different. But I will see you next time.